Next on Worcester News Tonight, local law enforcement taking another crack at fighting the opioid crisis. We hear from Worcester Police. Plus, a local dance teacher defies the odds after losing her leg to diabetes. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The Worcester Police Department and Worcester County District Attorney's Office announced a new program Thursday to help fight the heroin and opioid crisis. Our Cam Jandro was there and joins us now live with the details. Cam?
Anna, the opioid crisis continues to destroy lives all across the country, but here in central Massachusetts, one brand new program looks to take one major step into fixing that. The Worcester Police Department and Worcester County District Attorney's Office announced a new program to combat the opioid crisis. The biodiversion treatment alternative will allow low-level opioid offenders to be treated rather than face criminal charges.
To get some of our drug-addicted people off the street and give them an opportunity to get into services. So there's two sides. We go after the drug dealer, and we try to help out the person addicted.
The pilot program was awarded a $99,000 grant from the Baker-Polito administration, along with the Executive Office of Public Safety. If successful, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito believes the program could fight the opioid crisis beyond Worcester.
It will allow us then to take this to other gateway cities here in the Commonwealth and have another tool in the toolkit to combat opiate addiction here in the Commonwealth.
According to the Department of Public Health, Worcester County saw more than 230 opioid-related overdose deaths last year. The city of Worcester itself saw nearly 60 overdoses in that time span. District Attorney Joseph Early Jr. says with a number that large, a lot has to go right for the BDTA program to be considered a success.
When we see fewer people using, when we see fewer deaths, when we see, everyone working together, when we see compassion being used to help remove the stigma, that's how we're going to know we're beating this.
With the city averaging more than 100 opioid-related arrests each year, the hope is an innovative approach will combat the opioid problem here in Worcester.
The scientifically known way to beat this problem, and that's with treatment. We can get them into treatment. I'm going to hold off on the criminal charges, see if they can comply with the treatment.
We're looking at the person who has, has the illness of drug addiction, and we want to go help that person and bring them into services.
Now, there's no word as to when the program will start, but Sergeant says the program should have a much bigger impact than simply arresting users. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. A 34-year-old man arraigned Thursday after allegedly stabbing a female nurse with a pen at UMass Memorial Hospital. According to the Worcester County DA's office, the incident happened Monday in the hospital's emergency department. Lauren Rosenberg was arraigned on multiple charges, including assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Rosenberg was released on personal recognizance, but ordered to stay away from the victim and witnesses. His attorney requested an outpatient psychiatric evaluation, which he is to complete during now and his next court date on October 30th. Patrick Muldoon, UMass Memorial Medical Center president, sent a statement saying, "At UMass Memorial Medical Center, we are fully committed to providing a safe workplace for all of our employees. We sympathize with all of the individuals involved in this incident and are constantly working to strengthen our workplace violence prevention program." Well, tonight we hear from an award-winning Oxford dance teacher who lost her leg to diabetes just last year, but certainly has not let the loss get in the way of her passion. Lynette McIntyre has been a dance teacher for more than half of her life and says she was put on this earth to dance and to teach. But last summer, she received news from her doctor she would lose her leg to diabetes.
She said that the bone in my foot was of the consistency of sand. The hardest part was coming back from that appointment on Monday and calling Melissa, who's the artistic director of this studio, and telling her that she's going to have to find a new tap teacher because I'm going to have my leg amputated.
But Melissa didn't take the news the same way Lynette did. She wanted her to continue to follow her passion.
It was a no-brainer. I mean, she teaches dance and she's got it in her soul, and she's done a great job in a boot or a cast or whatever she had on last year, and I said, you can do this. You taught with half of a leg already, so just no big deal. We'll get through this, we'll figure it out.
With the support of the dance studio, her family, and her friends, Lynette knew she had to get back on her feet as soon as possible.
She said I could keep my classes. That was my go-ahead. I was like, let's get this thing off as soon as possible. And we had the amputation July 8th. I was at Fair Lawn Rehab 2 days later. I got up out of bed, used the walker.
By November, she got a special prosthetic made for dancing and was back to teaching her classes.
Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
She says when it's time for her students to move on, she wants them to leave with more than just dance skills.
Maybe they can look back on something that they learned in the dance studio, other than point your toe. Wait a minute, I had a tap dancer teacher who lost one of her legs, but it didn't stop her from doing what she wants to do.
Well, Lynette has overcome so many things without having her leg, but her latest accomplishments include receiving a choreographer's award, and this Saturday, she and her students will perform a dance at Fair Lawn Rehab Facility. An update tonight on a case of animal cruelty we've been following. PETA is now offering a reward for helping catch the person or persons who dumped 6 puppies into a river in Uxbridge. The reward is for up to $5,000. On Sunday, the 6 one-week-old puppies were found inside a bag spotted floating down the Blackstone River. They're now recovering. They'll be ready to be adopted in just a few weeks. A Worcester-based tour bus company is ranked one of the most dangerous when it comes to unsafe driving measures. In the wake of a deadly bus crash in New York, a group of lawmakers put out a report of the top 10 most dangerous bus companies operating in New York City. Yep Tour, based in Worcester on Harvard Street, ranked second on the list. Lawmakers are calling for a doubling of fines to $5,000 if a carrier fails to notify the RMV if any of their drivers has a history of operating under the influence convictions. Now to Leominster. A man is facing charges after he allegedly attacked a school bus filled with children with a machete. Abby Nezgoda has the story.
Wow.
The green bike I got.
Like most 8-year-olds, Chris Price can't stop talking about his new bike.
Feel the tires.
But it's what police say happened as he was about to get on his bus that has everyone talking in Leominster.
There was no stopping it.
No stopping their neighbor, 44-year-old Ricardo Morales, a convicted felon accused of turning violent Tuesday at a bus stop near his Mechanic Street apartment.
When I looked out my window in the morning, all I seen was yelling.
Yelling at the driver, and police say striking the school bus that was headed to a special needs school in Worcester, not once, but twice.
He had a handle of a broom and a machete. He was just striking the bus. He was very, very upset at the driver for parking in the private driveway.
I'm like, they're kids. They're special needs children.
Fortunately, no one was hurt, but Elizabeth Price says her son, who is autistic, still doesn't fully understand.
He freaked out on the bus. He didn't want to stay at school.
And she says the reason for the violence is one she doesn't understand either.
It's a wheelchair van, so you have to load them from the back, so it's not capable of stopping on the main road.
Right now, Ricardo Morales isn't here. He remains behind bars pending a dangerousness hearing. And we've learned the last time he served time, police say he was threatening to shoot people with what appeared to be a gun outside of his home. In Leominster, I'm Abby Nezgoda, Worcester News Tonight.
An iconic Worcester business opened its doors today to their second factory. Tabletalk Pies' new building is in South Worcester Industrial Park, which has been vacant for almost 20 years. It's a big step for not only the business, but the city as well. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
1, 2, 3.
Go.
The ribbon is cut and the pies will soon be made. Tabletalk Pies opens their new facility in the South Worcester Industrial Park.
Just an amazing day. Just the outpouring of support for our company, as well as a chance just to thank the city of Worcester for all they've done to make this beautiful building possible.
The new manufacturing facility is 50,000 square feet. It will be used solely to make their famous 4-inch pies. President Harry Kokina says they will produce about 1 million per week.
My grandfather, the little junior pies that he made back in his day, just to see so many of them being made and to see this beautiful building.
The company broke ground last October at the industrial park. It has been vacant for more than 20 years, and City Councilor Sarai Rivera says the project was a long time coming.
You know when you hope for something and you wait for something and you pray for something? So when it happened, it was almost like it was like a disbelief.
The new bakery will employ 100 workers. 15 from the South Worcester neighborhood have already started.
You live here in the neighborhood, you can walk to work, your kids go to school down the street.
The Worcester-based company was founded in 1924. Kokinas' father took over the company in 1986. His picture hangs outside the building. Kokinas says he wishes his father was here to see the success.
He just wouldn't give up and didn't let the brand die because the doors were closed, back then in 1984, and he brought it back and just built the foundation so for us to continue to build the company.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester Trial Court is helping to promote workplace diversity by celebrating Cultural Appreciation Day. Several courts across the state are taking part as well. As our Brittany Schaefer explains, the event grew out of a Massachusetts probation service-led effort and was quickly embraced by the state trial court.
I'm probably not the only person in the room today who feels the tension in the country right now. And I think it's so important at this moment that we come together.
Celebrating diversity and uniting together. They are the goals of the Worcester Court's Cultural Appreciation Day event. Justice Shannon Friesen says the event couldn't have come at a better time.
Whether it's about race or national origin or sexual orientation or immigration, there's so many things that people really feel strongly about on opposite sides, and it's so important to have moments where you can come together and actually just celebrate each other and recognize some of the differences in cultures.
The celebration represented dozens of countries with food, fun facts, and a map where court employees marked off their nationalities.
We have a lot of European here we can see, a lot of Irish, Italian. I clicked off 2 places, Greece and also France.
I marked off Guatemala because my children are Guatemalan born.
Marcia Green shows off her family history with a photo of her mother and grandmother on Ellis Island.
They were coming from England and going to Illinois. I just thought it was fun to have show and tell that I'm really the child of an immigrant.
Green says the Cultural Appreciation Celebration is a great way to get to know and understand their coworkers.
We all work in this massive building and we don't get to know each other as well as we wish we could.
I think it's important to get to know each other in general, and part of that is knowing people's culture.
I think everyone's learning a lot today about how many different cultures exist here in the trial court. When people understand each other's history, there's a lot less, I think, fighting when you understand our shared history in the country.
Now, this is the court's first Cultural Appreciation Celebration, and Friesen hopes it becomes an annual event. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester.